Robyn, Christine and David, and Janelle to talk about their future and dive deeper into their past.
To talk about this, because is it a comfortable feeling? Is it an uncomfortable feeling? And is it the right feeling for you that you've always wanted and you didn't know?
It was supposed to be about love, faith, and unity. That's what they told us. That's what they sold us. But behind the perfectly staged family photos, behind the carefully chosen words and forced smiles, something darker was brewing. And now, after years of secrets, the cracks are no longer hiding. They're exploding on camera. The Brown family dream is over. The illusion of harmony has collapsed into silence, bitterness, and betrayal. And at the heart of it all sits a lie so bold it could only survive on reality television. The lie of the core family. What started as a shared vision of plural marriage has become a tool for control. Kody and Robyn didn't just end up together, they built a new kingdom, one that excluded nearly everyone who helped create the original dream. They didn't just fall in love, they rewrote the definition of family to fit their own comfort, their own power, and most of all, their own bank account. And now, everyone else, the kids, the former wives, the viewers, is waking up to the truth. The family wasn't falling apart. It was being pushed out piece by piece until only Robyn and her chosen circle remained. Hey everyone, I'm David, and this is TLC Sister Wives. Daily Robyn's idea of a core family didn't just create tension. It shattered what little was left of the Brown family bond. She didn't whisper it in passing or drop it during a heated moment. She said it with calm certainty, as if it had always been true. But it wasn't. And the second those words left her mouth, something irreversible happened. For viewers, it was a jarring reminder of how far removed she'd become from the rest of the family. For the people who used to share homes, holidays, and decades of life with Kody, it was a cold dismissal. According to Robyn, the core family only included the people still living under her roof. That meant her children, her rules, her world. Everyone else, Janelle's kids, Christine's grandbabies, even the older siblings who lived just a few hours away, were no longer part of that inner circle. Not because they walked away, but because Robyn quietly erased them. Her version of core wasn't about who had been there through it all. It was about who served her comfort now. The fallout came fast. In one holiday episode after another, we saw the separation turn into a spotlight. Robyn's home was quiet, sterile, even lonely. Meanwhile, Christine and Janelle were surrounded by kids, grandkids, laughter, food, life. There was no denying who was truly holding a family together and who was holding on to a fantasy. But instead of reaching out or taking responsibility, Robyn played the victim. She cried on cue. She wondered aloud why no one invited her, but the truth was clear. She had already shut the door. And let's be honest, Robyn never planned to make the same sacrifices the other wives did. Christine left her whole support system behind to follow Kody's choices. Janelle gave up financial independence for the good of the family. Mary tolerated years of emotional neglect in the name of spiritual duty. But Robyn? She married into a family and then slowly reshaped it around herself. When it came time for holiday visits or birthday calls, the expectation was that everyone else would adjust, that they would drop everything, cross states, and step around their own lives just to maintain access to Robyn's carefully guarded world. Even her definition of family events revolved around whether her children could be front and center. It wasn't about blending.
To talk about this, because is it a comfortable feeling? Is it an uncomfortable feeling? And is it the right feeling for you that you've always wanted and you didn't know until you had it? Can we watch this clip?
Janelle backed away once she saw how things were being handled. Even Mary, after years of holding on, finally stepped off the ride. And the kids? They watched, they noticed, and they remembered. Because family isn't something you redefine on a whim. It's something you show up for, over and over again. What Robyn seemed to miss is that people can only be sidelined for so long before they stop coming back. Her version of core was really just a smaller circle of control. It wasn't built on love, it was built on proximity and power. And the moment she said it out loud, it confirmed what so many had feared. Robyn never wanted a plural family. She wanted a protected unit. One she could manage. Thanks for being here. If you're as stunned as I am by what's coming out now, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below. I want to know what you think about this so-called core family and the secrets that held it together. Because today, we're digging into something that changes everything. This isn't just a shift in the storyline. This is the moment the whole foundation cracked. Stick around, because once you see what's been hiding in plain sight, you'll never look at Kody, Robyn, or sister wives the same way again. While the emotional damage of the core family lie was tearing through relationships, there was something just as insidious happening in the background, and it was all about money. Kody didn't just control the emotional narrative, he controlled the financial flow too. And it wasn't equal. It wasn't fair, it was strategic. Behind the scenes, all the income from TLC, the money every wife and every child helped earn through their participation on screen, was funneled into a single account. And guess who held the keys? Kody, through Dabsark LLC. Dabsark wasn't just a random business setup, it was Kody's financial funnel. TLC paid Dabsark, not the individuals. From there, the money moved, not to each wife's household, not based on who appeared most on the show or who bore the emotional labor of filming. No, it moved the way Kody wanted, and that often meant Robyn's household had what they needed, while everyone else had to ask, justify, or go without. Even when Christine and Janelle were putting in full work, showing up for filming, dragging through awkward scenes, dealing with the emotional weight of public breakdowns, they still had to check in with Kody before seeing a dime. And we saw it in Janelle's story especially. She was stuck in that tiny rental in Flagstaff, barely able to store her belongings, while Robyn was moved into a massive $900,000 home that quickly became the center of the family's operations. All the while, Kody insisted it was just logistics. But money always tells the real story. What's even more alarming is that Robyn and her kids were often missing from full episodes, yet their lifestyle never seemed to suffer. Viewers noticed. Robyn didn't film as much, her kids didn't share as openly, but the benefits, they were constant. Steady income, full-time access to Kody, a big house, private time. Meanwhile, Janelle couldn't even get Kody to help set up her trailer. Christine had to start from scratch in Utah, and Mary, even after her loyalty, was left to run her own business with barely a mention of shared funds. It raises a chilling question. Were the older kids, the ones who shared their heartbreak, their disagreements, their milestones on camera, actually helping fund the life Robyn's family was living off-screen? Because we know those kids weren't paid directly. Many of them said it. TLC funneled the checks through Kody's business, and from there, he decided what was family expense and what wasn't. But when you're controlling the pot, everything becomes subjective. That Flagstaff house didn't buy itself, and Robyn's children didn't get stability from thin air. Kody's financial control wasn't just about money, it was about loyalty. If you questioned the system, you were not being fair. If you asked for your share, you were creating division. Christine saw through it and she walked. Janelle tried to hold on, hoping for structure, but got the same dead ends. Even Mary, who always stayed in her lane, was given empty promises. And the whole time, Robyn stayed quiet, letting the system benefit her, all while pretending she was just going with the flow. The show kept rolling, the drama kept building, but the money moved in silence. And when the wives finally had enough, they weren't just leaving a marriage, they were leaving a system built to keep them tied to Kody while giving him full control. A system that masked favoritism with financial dependency. A system that paid Robyn and her children in full, even when they barely showed up. ChatGPT said, "With the family fractured and the financial strings exposed, Kody and Robyn found themselves on shaky ground, not just at home, but with the viewers. What used to be a dynamic, complicated family story had narrowed down to a couple sitting in a quiet, tension-filled house with little left to offer. And TLC, now desperate to keep the momentum going, started leaning hard into awkward moments, forced scenes, and a new kind of desperation. The kind where people scramble to look relevant on camera. Suddenly, we were watching board game nights that felt more like auditions than bonding. Forced laughter echoed through rooms that used to hold real chaos, real interaction. Dinners were stiff, the conversation unnatural, and it was obvious to longtime fans this wasn't the sister wives dynamic they fell in love with. It was a leftover storyline being reheated for the cameras, and the audience could feel it. And then came the real twist. Robyn, who for so long kept her older daughters out of the spotlight, suddenly started pulling them into scenes. Aurora, Dayton, and Brianna began appearing more often, not because they had anything to say or contribute to the family narrative, but because Robyn needed something, anything, to hold the viewer's attention. It wasn't about inclusion, it was about survival. The contrast between Robyn's forced attempts and the natural joy spilling out of Christine and Janelle's scenes couldn't be clearer. Christine's life in Utah feels alive, full of energy, love, and genuine connection with her kids and grandkids. Janelle's moments with her sons are raw, real, and sometimes heartbreaking, but they're honest. They're not polished or overproduced, they're simply family moments, and that's what made Sister Wives powerful in the first place.
To talk about this, because is it a comfortable feeling, is it an uncomfortable feeling,
it's all presentation
and is it the right feeling for you that you've always wanted and you didn't know until you had it? Can we watch this clip?
But we don't see action. The emotional range has narrowed down to frustration, confusion, and vague hope. A loop that's losing traction with every episode. And for a show that built its name on dynamic plural marriage, that's a problem. Viewers have started asking, why are we still filming Kody and Robyn? What do they even bring to the table anymore, other than repetitive commentary and avoidant behavior? The answer, increasingly, is not much. They don't interact with the rest of the family, their children rarely speak. There's no evolving story, just two people stuck in a narrative that's already collapsed. And TLC is clearly struggling to build anything meaningful from that. Robyn's sudden willingness to share her older kids feels less like a change of heart and more like a last-ditch effort to justify airtime. These aren't stories that grew naturally from family interactions. They're add-ons, placeholders, trying to keep the core household in rotation. But viewers see through it. They know when something's real and when it's being patched together for screen time. Christine and Janelle didn't have to try so hard. Their joy, pain, and growth came through without needing gimmicks. Because they weren't trying to look relevant, they were relevant. They were still showing up for life, for family, and for themselves. But for Kody and Robyn, relevance has become something they chase, not something they live. And as the gap between them and the rest of the Browns grows wider, TLC is running out of ways to make their storyline matter. The show that once told the story of unity and plural marriage is now watching its last remaining couple act out a hollow script while the real heart of the family beats somewhere else, in homes that no longer need Kody or Robyn to define what love looks like. By the time we reach the latest chapters of this story, the image of Kody and Robyn as a unified front is breaking apart, not with dramatic explosions, but with quiet, weary collapse. What once seemed like the most solid couple in the Brown family is now marked by exhaustion, miscommunication, and thinly veiled resentment. The sparkle that Robyn used to try so hard to maintain is gone from her eyes, replaced with a look of fatigue. And Kody, always loud and controlling, is now just tired. In one of the most revealing moments on camera, Kody admitted he was emotionally checked out. He said it flat out, that he didn't have the emotional fortitude anymore. And while he was talking about his relationships with the other wives, the truth is that weariness has bled into his relationship with Robyn too. You can see it in how he looks at her now, not with love, but with obligation. Like he's trapped in the last room of a house he helped burn down. And Robyn, for all her efforts to appear put together, isn't hiding the strain as well as she used to. She looks drained. Her voice trembles more. Her eyes dart. The dream she sold, that she just wanted family, unity, and faith, is now buried under the wreckage of failed expectations. Because the truth is, Robyn didn't want a plural marriage. She wanted control. She wanted Kody to herself. She wanted to be the one at the center without sharing space, attention, or emotional labor with anyone else. But now, she has Kody, and only Kody. And it's not the prize she imagined. The illusion of love has turned cold. The family has disintegrated. Faith, once a shield they used to justify the choices, now seems distant and hollow. And all that's left is two people sitting in a massive house filled with silence, their once loyal audience watching them come apart at the seams. One of the most telling moments came when Kody, in his frustration, admitted that he didn't even want to keep his relationship with Mary going. That it was Robyn who pressured him to stick it out. Not out of love or loyalty, but because of appearances. Robyn didn't want to be the one wife left standing while the others crumbled. She didn't want to look like she had been the goal all along, even though she was. So she encouraged Kody to play pretend, to fake emotional connection with Mary long after it was gone. That admission exposed something huge, that Robyn, for all her talk about loyalty and faith, was manipulating Kody behind the scenes. Not just about Mary, but about everything. She helped build the narrative, pushed him to maintain the facade, and now that it's collapsed, she's stuck with the mess she helped create. They both are. Now, instead of being admired or respected, Kody and Robyn face public rejection. Viewers are fed up. The rest of the family wants nothing to do with them. And instead of rising above it, they've both sunk into self-pity and blame. Robyn weeps over what she's lost. Kody lashes out at the family he pushed away. And neither one seems to understand that their power came not from control, but from connection. And once that connection was severed, their influence vanished. What remains is a couple who thought they won the game, only to the curtain is falling, not just on a show, but on a long-running illusion. The audience that once tuned in to see a bold experiment in plural marriage is no longer buying what Kody and Robyn are selling. The sympathy for Robyn's endless tears has dried up. The patience for Kody's rants and grandstanding is gone. What's left is the cold reality that the core family they fought so hard to protect is now the very reason people are turning away. Fans aren't fooled anymore. They've watched the emotional whiplash, the favoritism, the lies wrapped in spiritual jargon. Social media is full of commentary that pulls no punches, calling out Robyn's crocodile tears, Kody's narcissism, and the sheer emptiness of their current storyline. What once was compelling television has turned into a cautionary tale, and the viewers? They've switched sides. Christine and Janelle, once positioned as the rebels, are now the heroes. Their freedom, joy, and honest vulnerability stand in sharp contrast to Robyn and Kody's growing isolation. TLC is in a tough spot. The show can't live off nostalgia forever. The heart of Sister Wives was always the family, the connections, the struggles, the different personalities learning to coexist. But what happens when that family is gone? When the only people left on camera are the ones the audience trusts the least? There's no more mystery to pull us in, no wives left to reconcile, no holidays to dread, no big family meetings, just Robyn and Kody, awkwardly trying to stretch out scenes with crafts, dinner conversations, or emotional meltdowns that feel forced. They're coasting on past seasons, but the runway's almost gone. TLC might be hoping something big happens, but the truth is, the show has reached a dead end. The cultural tide has shifted. We're not glorifying toxic control or blind obedience anymore. Viewers want authenticity. They want growth. And Kody and Robyn are stuck in a holding pattern, still trying to control the narrative long after the story has moved on. But there's a kind of poetic justice in how things have turned out. Christine and Janelle, who were once dismissed, doubted, and even mocked for their choices, are now thriving. They're surrounded by kids who adore them. They're rebuilding their lives on their own terms, with smiles that don't have to be faked for the cameras. Meanwhile, Robyn and Kody have everything they claimed to want. The house, the silence, the core family. But it's not a victory, it's exile. It's a mansion echoing with the absence of laughter, love, and legacy. And maybe that's the final chapter. Not a dramatic collapse, but a slow fade into irrelevance. The price of building your kingdom on control instead of connection. And as the lights dim, it's not just the viewers turning away. It's the entire family moving forward without looking back. So now we're left with one simple, painful question. Was this ever really about faith and family? Or was it always about control, power, and appearances? For years we watched Kody preach about unity, about spiritual leadership, about love shared across 4 households. And for a while, maybe we believed it. But now, with the dust settled and the family scattered, the truth is plain to see. When the masks fell, when the pressure of pretending finally cracked through the surface, all that remained was a man who chased control, and a woman who protected her position at any cost. The core family wasn't about keeping the Browns together. It was about keeping the spotlight on one house, one version of the truth, while everyone else was pushed away. It's not about jealousy or bitterness or drama. It's about what happens when you sacrifice genuine relationships in favor of ego and control. And now, with nothing left to hide behind, Robyn and Kody are left standing in the wreckage of everything they built. Alone. And I want to hear what you think. Should TLC even keep filming Robyn and Kody? Or is it time to let this chapter close for good? Drop a comment below and let your voice be heard. I'm David, and this has been TLC Sister Wives Recap. Thanks for spending your time with me today. I hope this story gave you clarity, maybe even a little closure. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. And until then, stay strong, stay honest, and I'll see you in the next one.